So there's a lot to talk about with respect to the horrible flooding and the tragic loss of life in Texas. But in this video, I want to take a few minutes to talk about the politics of this. And I really hate having to do this, and I know a lot of you do also, because, you know, when something happens like this and there's a tragic loss of life and there's still people missing, decent people tend not to want to talk about it through the lens of politics. Or they will at least say, you know, let's just wait. You know, people are still missing. People are dealing with the tragedy of the loss of loved ones right now. Now is not the time for politics. We need to come together and get through this, and there's always time for politics later. Unfortunately, I don't agree with that. I wish I could agree with that. I wish the nature of our politics were different than they are, but the fact of the matter is we are on the verge of losing this republic to a fascist tyranny in the form of this MAGA authoritarianism and this cult of personality in service of a madman. And we have to take every opportunity, unpleasant and distasteful though it may be, but we have to take every opportunity to persuade our fellow Americans that this man and this movement is a disaster. And unfortunately, that means that when things like this happen, we can't wait to engage in the politics. And just so we're clear, if the shoe were on the other foot here, do you think Donald Trump and MAGA Republicans would wait before people had a time to grieve, or before missing people were found? Would they wait for a period of time so that we could all, you know, put politics on the back burner and come together in this moment of tragedy? Hell no. Donald Trump would be up on Truth Social leading the charge, blaming this all on Biden and the Democrats. We've seen him do it. You know, last summer or last fall with the horrible, you know, the hurricanes and the flooding in North Carolina, Donald Trump lied about that. While people, you know, while the tragedy was unfolding, right in the midst of all of it, he made it worse. He lied and put out misinformation, preventing people from accessing the emergency services they needed. So he doesn't wait. You know, his orange ass was trying to stay out of prison, trying to win that election. So he certainly didn't wait, and they never wait. They take advantage of these things. And here's the reason why you can't wait. Because you might be thinking, look, I don't really want to do politics right now. Let's wait. The problem is, given people's attention span, you know, most Americans have the attention span of a goldfish, and that's probably being generous. If you wait, let's give it a week or two. Let's get past this. They'll be on to something else. It'll be old news. No one will be paying attention to this a week from now. And you will have missed your opportunity to make the important points that need to be made right now. And that is, this entire situation was probably made much worse because of Donald Trump and his cuts, his indiscriminate hatred for government, just cutting things left and right. And you had officials there in Texas very directly blaming the failures of the National Weather Service to provide accurate information in a timely fashion so that they could have warned people and gotten people out of harm's way. And that's all directly attributable to the fact that Donald Trump gutted the National Weather Service. And the American people need to be slapped in the face with that reality, that the loss of life that we are witnessing right now is the direct result of Donald Trump's policies. At least in part. He certainly made it worse. He certainly did not put us in the best position to be able to prepare and potentially prevent the loss of life. He made it worse because he doesn't give a shit. They just want to cut government wherever they can to try to save money to give tax breaks for billionaires. And we have to slap people in the face with reality and make them realize this isn't a freaking game. Politics isn't a freaking joke. It's serious. And when you elect a fucking clown, a criminal, a narcissist, a dirtbag to the core, to be president, someone who is going to implement Project 2025, which is anyone who is paying any sort of attention would know that that was the plan, then this is the kind of thing you get. And there's going to be more of this. We're going to be entering hurricane season. Who knows what awaits us? Who knows what we won't be able to predict? Who knows what kind of tragedies might have been prevented? How many people may lose their lives who wouldn't have if Donald Trump wasn't elected and did what he has done to the federal government, and specifically here the National Weather Service. This is the whole cold hard truth of the political situation. And we can't sit there and say, you know what, it's distasteful. We can't, now's not the time for politics. I'm sorry, unfortunately, it is. As I say, if you wait a week or 2 weeks, you will have missed the opportunity to make this point, because no one will be listening about this anymore. No one will care anymore. From now to a week from now, how many more outrages will there be? Donald Trump can change the subject with a frickin' Truth Social post. There will probably be many stories in the next week. We will be so far removed from what's going on right now, you will have missed your opportunity. And I hate that that's the kind of country we live in right now, and that we have to fight dirty like that. And that it's honest. You have to honestly put the information out there, so it's not dirty from that point of view. But it doesn't feel right to a lot of people to engage in politics right now. But unfortunately, that's how you have to do it. Because as I said, you will lose the opportunity, and the other side plays this way. And if one side plays like this, does politics like this, and our side says, oh, you know what, it's not the decent thing to do. We shouldn't be doing politics right now. One side plays by no rules whatsoever, and then our side plays with, our hands wrapped, tied behind our back of our own doing. We choose to tie our own hands behind our back. One side is going to win that fight every single fucking time. That's part of the reason we're in the political situation we're in right now, is because Republicans fight all the time. They don't wait. They never say, oh, we shouldn't politicize this. Oh, we should unite right now. There'll be a time for politics later. Republicans never say that. That's one of the reasons why they have control of everything right now. And if you want to break their stranglehold, then you have to fight back, and you have to make these political points when people are paying attention. If you don't, distasteful though it may be, if you don't, you'll lose your opportunity. And what will happen is they will lie about it and somehow blame Biden or Democrats. It wasn't Trump's fault. And by the time that non-fascists, the non-MAGAs, the decent people, by the time they get around to talking about this, the narrative will already be set that it's Joe Biden's fault or it's whoever's fault. And it'll be too late. So, just something to think about. I know a lot of you don't like to engage in politics at a time like this, but you have to. You have to. We're fighting for the country right now, and we're going to lose it if we don't play like this. We're going to have to do it. So, anyway, I hope you all are doing well, and I'll talk to you again soon.